and I hope that you all will come back and stick around and watch my videography evolve, hopefully the microphone continues to work as it should. I'm using my old 2-in-1 laptop. I cannot get the microphones to work in the gaming laptop that my son got me, and they worked once or twice, and then but the audio is terrible on the webcam. So you know, I decided I'll just start using this one for vlogs and videos and stuff like that. Anyways, anywho, I'm in my granny gown. It's been a really busy couple of days for me. I had a job interview today and I got the job. I will not tell where I'm working because not everybody who's watching is rooting for me. So, but it is not in healthcare. Thank you, the powers that be. I did not want to go back to healthcare. Skills, all that good stuff. So, yeah. So I had a job interview today. I got the job. I just don't know when I'll start because, you know, there's paperwork and all that stuff you got to do to before you get started. Ooh. And also I've been trying to catch up on sewing. I have a video that I have to do for a collaboration that I did with a company that they sell a lot of different stuff, but they let me choose, and I chose HTV, a packet of heat transfer vinyl to test out because I had this idea in my head for like forever. When I did the backpack, the drawstring backpack on my last video on my other channel, I was like, I really want to try the zippered backpack, and that kind of gave me courage. So talking about courage, I never have, like, I have a plan in my head, but I never write things down for videos, and if I do, I never use them. But I had thought that I wanted to talk about kind of what I talked about in the last video, dealing with depression and just shutting myself down and shutting off and giving up. And you know, there's one thing that I've been missing over the last 10.5 years, and you know, that's the pep talks from my husband. It wasn't even pep talks from Julian. It was more like, you know, he had so much confidence in me. He had so much faith in my abilities, and he never doubted me, and he would always hype me up on anything. If I got excited to do something, Julian was excited to watch me master it. And it's like soap making, sewing, starting the YouTube channel. I mean, my channel started off, as you all know, it started off as just vlogging. I don't even think we called it vlogging when I started vlogging 13 or 14 years ago. But then I always liked to sew, and I always had a little sewing space in the house. And so I started filming, and this was before smartphones and all that too. So I had this cheap little camera. I don't even remember what camera it was. It might have been that little Kodak that I had, but it helped me through a process with some PTSD from the home invasion robbery that we experienced in 2003, and I was becoming more of a shut-in. And so Julian encouraged me to do those things, and almost in a joking way, he would, you know, I don't want you on the camera, woman. I don't want the man's looking at me. You know, he was so cute about it. But he really never discouraged me from doing anything. My hair's a wreck, y'all. But, you know, I've been missing that. I've been missing that a lot because and I'm sorry that I'm such a needy. I shouldn't be sorry. I have reasons for being the way that I am, and that was part of the thing. And I was kind of going over in my head in the car on the way home from taking Daisy to work, and I was thinking, you know, there's a reason that each and every one of us have certain behaviors, certain ways of thinking, certain things that we do. And yeah, there's, you know, and I'm talking about childhood traumas that cause us to have a mindset that we do. And it just so happened that living with my adoptive mother and my adoptive father, it was traumatic. I mean, they were discouraging. They never encouraged us. They never lifted us up. They never praised a good thing we did. Never. I mean, I remember my mother being so happy because I won this, they had a Christmas ornaments contest at the bank in our hometown where my mother banked. She 100% made the ornament, and I won. And she loved telling everybody about it. And I thought I was 9 or 10, maybe more like 11 or 12, I don't know. And I kept thinking in my mind, but I can do all these things myself. I can draw, I can paint. I love doing things like that. And she was more happy that I won a contest that I didn't even, she just wanted her ornament in there, but it was for kids. So, but anyway, it was a household full of just gloom. I don't remember, it was so much different with my children, and I probably left them some trauma too. But I remember that one thing about us as parents and as a couple is that we had a very open and happy household most of the time. Julian was very strict, but we danced with our children. We played music. We went on long drives to nowhere. We took them on trips to parties out of town, family weddings, mostly on Julian's side. And Mexicans, Latinos, Hispanics are notorious for having these kick-ass weddings and quinceañeras and parties. My daughter talks a lot about how she really enjoyed those moments in her childhood, that we took them out and we did things with them. And one thing that most all of my children had said to me was that the relationship between Julian and I showed them love. It showed them what it was for a couple to love each other, because we would hug and kiss. I mean, we weren't, but we were affectionate towards one another. We were playful with one another. We got angry at one another, and we had open, loud discussions sometimes, but we never got into fist fights. We never hurt each other. A couple of times when I smacked him around a little bit, but if he's standing here right now, he'd tell you he probably deserved it. But anyway, I was ashamed of my accomplishments. Let's just put it there. The thing that I'm getting to is that I'm having some really bold revelations and awakenings, and I'm woke to some things that I saw in myself and in my childhood and in my upbringing, and I'm realizing things. And never being able to be proud of my accomplishments because I was told that it was a sin in the eyes of God and I would go to hell. And I'm not even exaggerating, y'all. From the time I was a very small child, I heard you're going to go to hell for that a lot. When I was 9 years old, we went to a Pentecostal holiness church. If y'all know what Pentecostal holiness are, if you are religious and in the church, and you truly follow, I'm just sidetracking right here, this is in parentheses, you truly follow that Bible, you will not come at me for what I'm going to say about my feelings about the church, because it was at me. And I know there are good Christian people out there, there are good religious people out there, there are good faithful people out there, but that's not the majority. When I was 9 years old and we were in this Pentecostal holiness church, I was the only standout of all of the young people, I was 9, children in the church who did not fall down in the Holy Spirit. Let me quit doing the quotations. And the preacher called me up there and had every adult come and surround me and lay hands on me and said that I was demon possessed because the Holy Spirit would not enter me. No, what I saw was my adopted sister and the other children in the church laying on the floor doing this, and every now and then I'd see. I was like, that's not real. But anyway, let's get away from there. all of that, you know, I just never felt good about good things I did. I never felt 100% good, and I, even though I would look for praise, I would back away from it. If I posted something online, or I did something good and made something pretty, and Daisy was wearing it when she was little and got complimented on it, I would always feel guilt for that pride. I always felt like I had no right to be proud that I'm an artist, that I'm talented, that I'm multifaceted. When I am a Jill of all trades. I love to do a little bit of everything. I really do. My biggest passion as a teenager was that I really wanted to design clothing. I mean, I never envisioned like a boutique, or I never got that far with my dream, but I did always envision designing these funky runway fashions, and you know, just a lot of see-through stuff, a lot of pasties. Maybe I was designing stripper clothes. That's what Mama used to say. But I really loved full dresses. You know, I would sit for hours and just draw and draw and draw. Mama would always get me big packs of printer paper because I drew obsessively, and it was my passion, and I never could be proud of it because I was gonna go to hell if I designed clothes like that. And the truth is that we do have the right to be proud of our accomplishments. We do have the right to feel good about ourselves. When I started feeling better about myself, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, my house, this apartment became an absolute den of depression. I mean, you know, just piling material things on but cleaning out my soul, cleansing my mind and my body and my mentality and whatever from all of that childhood trauma. We rented a storage building. We started getting rid of a lot of our clutter, and it's hard for us. I raised a child like that, but she went through a lot of those traumas with us. When those men broke into the house, they were very rough with her. She was 3 years old, and they brought her by the wrist and throwed her in my lap and told me to keep the little bitch quiet and put a sawed-off shotgun to her head. And so we internalized that trauma and externalized by surrounding ourselves with clutter and material things because we did not know how to function normally. Even though we were putting on the pretense that we were normal, that, well, hey, I'm just like you, you know. We weren't. We've been dying for at least 11 years. You know, losing Julian was a really, really hard thing, and I'll talk about that a lot because I feel it. I will not, never anymore, I will not pretend I'm okay with him being gone to make anybody else feel better, because that was the love of my life. He was my soulmate. He was my twin flame. I love that man with all my heart and soul, and I always will, and it will make it extremely difficult for me to ever love like that again for many reasons. One, because I loved somebody so deeply that I almost leapt into his grave when we were at the cemetery. I could not handle it. I didn't want to part with him. I could not bring myself to be at the cemetery all the time. Even though when we lived close, we're 30 minutes away now, my children constantly, our daughter always wanted to be there. And I just wanted to dig when I would go there. I would sit on the ground and just feel the urge to just dig him out of that hole. Because I thought, I don't know. But anyway. But, that was a hard thing. It was very hard because so many things were happening, and I'm not going to get into all of it, but there is a hair wrapping itself around me. But anyway, the point that I'm getting to around is close, is that when my daughter gave me that pep talk the other week, and we were in the car, and it kick-started something in me that had the battery died in it when Julian died. And it made me feel so good because she said nothing negative. She didn't have a but in there. She didn't give me reasons that I'm wrong for this and this and this. She talked about all of my accomplishments, all of my talents, all of my abilities. And the one thing she said that made her angry, she said, I get so fucking mad at you, Mama, because I sit and listen to you put yourself down after you've, like, I'll get so far, you know, and then the air in my balloon just starts, and I start slowly descending back to earth. And it's always been that way. Like, when I feel good things happening, I personally sabotage them. I run myself in the ground because I've lost my confidence. You know, it's the fact that I have a family that never sticks together. And my wonderful 21-year-old daughter, I absolutely hope that this girl gets everything she wishes for in life, because she is the manifestation of the love between my husband and I, of the beautiful, wonderful things that we shared together. She's every bit of the good parts of him and the good parts of me, and a little bit of sass in the middle. That's probably me too. But my point was, I had one. Hype people up. If you love a person, you should always do your best to stay positive. And I know some people are going to say, well, you can't always be positive. You don't have to take the negative so far, though, that you make that person feel like they shouldn't exist. And my child didn't ever do that to me. None of my children did that to me, really. But we should love each other. We should be a family I have barely any contact with any of my family. My brothers, the two that we all three have the same parents, we're pretty much in contact. We don't have an issue with each other. I love my brothers. I will forever be faithful to those boys. When Julian died, those boys stayed right by me. I'm the oldest, but you know, they stuck by me at the hardest time in my life. And no matter where they go or what they do, if they call Big Sis and they need me, I'm going to be there, because my brothers that's family. That's family. I'll never understand that. I see other families that they get together, they talk to one another, they can have a disagreement and it doesn't shut the family down, but that's not the case with my family. It's sad, but it's not. And you know, while the rest of the world implodes with COVID and all these school shootings and the terrible things happening in the world, the one thing that we should be able to depend on steadfastly is our family units. You can't force anybody. I think my family has always had a negative view of me, and maybe some of it's my personality, but I think a lot of it is that I'm loud and outspoken, and you know, a lot of them are still willing to hold the family secrets, and that's shameful, because you cannot stand for women's rights, Black Lives Matter, pro-life, whatever you are, and then hate somebody because they want to speak out about family pedophilia, family incest, family just disgusting things that the men in my family have done. But you know, most of those men are dead or on their way out. My grandpa's been dead for 27 years, but that man was a womanizer and a prolific pedophile. He's dead. I ain't gonna say nothing about the other one because he ain't dead yet, and he might get back to him. But anyways, I'm trying to keep it positive, but sometimes you got to talk about the negative to get the positive in there. But the thing that I'm trying to say is that even though I'm getting older and it took me 51 years to realize it, my body's tired. I have osteoarthritis, y'all. Oh my God. I didn't think it. A few years ago, the doctor, I had a doctor tell me that she said I had it, and it's progressively worse. I get all over joint pain. I get physically sick. I cannot function, but I'm mulling through it thanks to Aleve and cannabis. But anyways, I love y'all. Join me for my journey, because this time, I want to make the most of it. I want to do all the things that I can possibly do. I am working on cleaning up my channels, my pages, everything. I don't want to be, as far as social media goes, that online person. I want to be that online persona. So I have switched everything to A Fate So Twisted. That is my brand. That is my name. I have a new page, a new group, new attitude. And we're just going to see, like I said, how things progress. Watch me evolve. Watch me become who I was meant to be. And encourage one another. Love one another. Because, we have an expiration date. As a lot of people don't realize that. I don't care what religion you are. It's no excuse to be a dick. You get this life, and you're not 100% sure what is after this life. So you can choose to be a shitty ass person while you're here, and let that be your legacy, and think that somehow you're going to get to the better place. Or you can be a good person. Just be a good person. I will save that. It's been 30 minutes. I gotta shut up. I love y'all. Thanks for coming by. Peace. Bye bye.